What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live Thursday night here in the office above the garage, I guess. We got some familiar faces in here as the viewers start rolling in for another crazy Thursday. What up, David Soul? Super Slow. Brad, good to see you. Shane. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Man, is anybody having some of this bipolar weather? Like 2 days ago, it was 65 degrees outside and it snowed today. My sinuses are killing me. The pressure just is, some of the worst sinus headaches I've ever had in my life. Yeah. I'm ready for spring. Like, so ready for spring. Also want to say shout out to any YouTube members that swung by the abnormally long live stream Saturday as we were pulling the big block out of the Camaro. I tried to stop over by the laptop every once in a while to see who all was in watching the show. TJ stopped by. What's going on, brother? We got out. We were getting ready to put the LS3 in, and I realized I only had one engine mount. So... But that was fine because, let me tell you, I was a little sore on Sunday. I'm not used to that. You didn't miss much, Shane. As I said, it was just a couple hours of me and my father-in-law jerking the motor out. And it went very smooth except for one bolt on the driver's side headers. Could not get it off. Tried everything. Finally we pulled the motor out with the header in, which... wasn't too bad, surprisingly, being that it was a big block in a F-body engine bay. There's not a lot of room, but we got out and ground the bolt off and went from there. In fact, the stud's still in the heads. Oh, as is the way of Goat Rope Garage, though, pulled the motor out that was supposed to be a 502. Yeah, no. Cyclone. What? Be careful, Brad. So we pulled the motor out. It's supposed to be a 502. It was a 454 block. Late 450. Late Gym 454 block. I think. I don't know. I need to look at it. It was stamped as 7.4 liters, which is really interesting, figuring you can't make a 502 out of a 454. So I'm going to have to probably pull ahead and drop the pan to see what exactly is going on. This crap always happens to me. Luckily, we had planned on pulling the motor from the get-go, so I wasn't too mad about it, but expect a nice 502. It's kind of like whenever we got a 350 in the Chevelle and it turned out to be a 328, which is total garbage. Those motors are worthless. At least 454 block has 450, especially if it ends up being a 4-bolt main, which, you know, there's really no way to tell on the 454 blocks, the early ones, without pulling the pan to see. If it ends up being a 4-bolt main, it's not a total loss by any means, you know. So, but as I said, I had high hopes. It had nice Brodix heads on it. Yeah, I mean, 454s are great. And, you know, it's not that expensive to punch them out. You can make a 505 out of them. 496. You know, there's a lot of options with the 454 block. You just can't make a 502. Yeah, I know, the Marine old 427s, 454s. So, I'll be honest, would not be surprised to find out it was 2-bolt. The 496 that came out of the Monte Carlo was a 2-bolt 454 block. And, you know, that thing was doing, 700 horsepower plus on spray? Yes, you're right. That's the bad thing about it. It's not a one-piece main, you know. That's the biggest pain on the early big blocks, is having the 2-piece seal and the leak. Well, and that's the thing. Somebody make this motor and put it together. Like, the guy didn't do the build himself. It was built by somebody, and they may have, it's, you know, it might be a 505 technically, and told the guy that bought it, and the guy probably searched, and 502 is more common to come up than like a 505 or something. Or I could open it up and find out that it is stock bore on a stock crank, and it is just a straight up 454. I had my suspicions. Granted, I only drove the car once, and it felt pretty gutless for a 454. But I was also not getting on it hard because, A, I did not have a license plate on it. I was going to get it registered, so I wasn't really trying to draw attention to myself. You know, sometimes you just got to roll the dice. So, yeah, we're putting the LS3 in it. And the LS3 is going to be crazy. But I also feel like I'm losing my mind. It's got a 3-speed in it. I need to go down. I didn't look that close at the transmission whenever I dropped the 3-speed out. I'm wondering if it's a 350 instead of a 400, because it seems small for a 400. Mike, that's a great question. I did not check the gears. We had it up in the air. I rotated the back tires to make sure that they both spun the same way, and that was it. I need to rotate the tires and count the revolutions on the pinion and find out what gears are in it. Or take the cover off. I mean, you know. What do they say? 6 and half dozen, yada, yada, yada. You can still give away your number is 502. Oh, De La Soul, are you talking about the one on the core where Bert was talking to Andre? I did watch that one. What was it, from SEMA or something? Maybe PRI? Maybe, it's probably PRI. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Yeah, I did watch that. Interesting stuff. So, that's the goal this weekend is LS3 in the engine bay, and then we start wiring, doing all that fun jazz. That's when the videos are going to start rolling out on the core. So, probably you'll start seeing core content before the end of the month. Oh, thanks, Shane. Appreciate the shout out. Man. Guy's trying to become a moderator over here. Speaking of which, let's see. Do I have any memberships to give away? Yeah, let's do it. Let's give away 5 memberships. You've got to be opted in on the website. I don't think you can do it through the app, or maybe you can do it on your phone, but you have to go to the website. Already am for a few lawyers. Which lawyers do you watch, Shane? Well, my Mrs. Garage watches a lot of law content. Oh, look at TJ matching it. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Peace and love to TJ. Man, SB got one. Where's SB been? I haven't seen him in the live in a while. He's fallen off. Can I sidetrack this away from cars real quick? Old timers ignore me. Anybody been playing Marvel Rivals? Dude, that game is taking over my life. Robert Govaya and Andrew Bronca. I will ask her. I'll have to ask her about that. She watches a bunch of... That's basically all she does all day is watch law YouTube. YouTube law crap. So... let me ask another question. In fact, I'm going to do a poll because I never use this. And I am totally 50-50 on this right now. For the LS3. Will do, brother. DB1 on DBC. How do I change these? Okay, DB... Let's see. Let's see what the poll says. Woo, woo, woo. What was I saying? Oh yeah, been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals. It's been eating up my nights. Oh, and I did a sleep study last night, like the in-home one, where you strap crap all over your body. I don't snore, so I don't think I have sleep apnea. But I guess it's the first step to figuring out because I don't sleep well. I got these dark circles under my eyes because I get about 5 minutes of deep sleep at night. Yeah, of course I can turn the volume up. Problem is I lean too close sometimes and it blows everything out. But I will say that the master volume's a little low. Let me turn. Dude, no, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, there you had to put a oximeter on your finger. You had a chest strap with a device plugged into that, and then you had to have a over the ears and stuff. Like, it's like, how are you supposed to get good sleep data whenever you've got all this crap going on? Boop. Let's move you over a little bit. Okay, perfect. Cable cause mud moisture does bad things to fly-by-wire. Yeah. It's all the video games I've been playing. I always shut it down early enough that I have a wind down period. What up, Cole? I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I've already got one of those motion icon. Oh, it's stupid commercials. I thought I had those off. Hold on. Let me see how I turn them off. Okay. Commercials are off. Everybody should be here. And if not, I apologize. There's a difference between monetization and ad rolls whenever you're doing live stuff. So, that's the big thing. Yeah, it must be a nightmare. Well, Dan, the nightmare this week wasn't anything having to do with tuning. It was doing my taxes. But I got them taken care of. Yeah, no problem, Rob. Day of the Soul, I've got an Eastwood bead roller. Use it all the time. In fact, my buddy Justin has asked to borrow it and use it and loves it. It works great. So I would recommend it. I literally have the Eastwood version. Something like that where you're putting some torque on some stuff. Like, I feel like maybe spending a little extra might be worth it. But, you know, your results may vary if you go with one of the cheaper ones off Amazon. Dude, there just needs to be an easier way of doing taxes. It's so insane. So insane. Like, I wouldn't care. Like, just bump up sales tax, like, another 10% and do away with income tax and then just tax people whenever they buy stuff. So rich people buy more shit, they spend more on taxes. Poor people, we only pay taxes on car parts, right? And I like the Icon throttle body. I'll be honest. Like, not a huge fan of a lot of the Motion Raceworks stuff. I'm glad it's American made and the quality's there. I think a lot of it is overpriced. And then there are a couple things that I've bought from them that literally, I think, a donkey with CAD designed them. Like, somebody with hands, there's no way in hell they designed that stuff. They're super expensive shifter being one. It is the worst shifter I've ever installed on a car. I gave it away with the Monte Carlo, and the guy that got the Monte Carlo backed the car off the trailer, pulled it into the garage, and then proceeded to rip the shifter out and get rid of it because he hated it. And I don't know, maybe they've got small, dainty hands, and they don't, like, Mrs. Garage would have been great for using it, but a man? No, that thing's going to pinch fingers, and it's just annoying. The other thing, I bought one of their easy install throttle cables, and it was the hardest throttle cable I've ever installed on a car. It was clearly not designed by somebody who had a roll cage in their car, because all of the adjustments were made at the pedal. Like, what in the hell were you thinking? It's just, no. There's 2 Allen set screws on there that use the smallest damn Allen head. Smallest. And you're upside down with a door bar in your back trying to get underneath and even find the set screws to make the adjustment. Yeah. Tax on what we earn, tax on what we spend, then property tax, more taxes when change. Yeah, exactly. It's like the idea we're getting taxed multiple times is insane. Insane. Let's see, what do we got? Drive-by-wire. Okay, you guys are killing me. Killing me. I guess I'm going to have to buy one of those new Nick Williams 102s or whatever, that 103s I guess they are now. Thanks, guys. Thanks for spending my money. I'm broke. You're spending my money. I appreciate that, Shane. The good news is, if you're on Patreon, maybe I'll give a throttle body away. I got some very nice plug wires that I'm going to be doing a raffle, not even a raffle, like a giveaway on this weekend. Listen, and so I've already got the pedal, I've already got the bracket, I've got everything to do except for the throttle body, and I've got the harness that's set up for drive-by-wire. So that's just less work for me on that side. And drive-by-wire is night and day better than it was what it used to be. TJ, I might be able to help you out with that here soon. Yeah, well, and that's what it was. I bought car wires and then realized with the new valve covers I put on the LS3, the truck wires would fit, but the car wires were just a smidge too short. Need that extra inch. That's what she said, right? Oh, God, what is all this crap that they've added? No, I'm not doing this stuff. Sorry. Yep. I wasn't even thinking. I just thought, hey, Okay. I'll let you know. Keep you posted. There's a guy, I can't remember. We talked about this, that's making his own shifters. And I believe I'm going to test out one of his Power Glide shifters in the Camaro. He's only on Facebook. It is what it is. I am... Listen, you're going to hear me hate on Holly a little bit less. I think that I beat it into the ground at this point in time that everybody knows that I'm not a Holly guy. What is this guy's name? I'll have to look it up. I'll let you know. Been trying to sell my Terminator X Max in the box with the 686 Pro Dash. Nobody wants it. Ugh. Yeah, no, they did not pay me for. Yes, Motion Raceworks is subverting this other guy. Oh, where is it? Oh, you're going to make me log in, aren't you, Facebook? Yeah. I feel bad. So I'm going to look this up. So I do not. I want to give this guy his props. Where is he? Where is he? Joseph Kemp is his name. Point Blank Motorsports. Thank you, Mike Few. Point Blank Motorsports. Dude, super cool. Super cool, dude. And I love it whenever somebody has the gumption, the balls, to just jump in and say, hey, I can make a better mousetrap. Back to 37-hour-long HP tuner tunes. Hopefully not. No, they did not pay me. Holly did not pay me for my silence. I wouldn't accept anything from Holly ever. Don't know Dane Thompson? Not personally. I've raced in some events with him. Cool dude. Burned down, right? Oh, yeah, always, Jordan. That's why we do these Thursday night live shows. If there's no questions, I just kind of ramble on about what's going on. Yeah, he says he loves it. And I'm sure he does, because talking to, I'm terrible with names, guys. Joe, Mr. Kemp, he explained, he kind of went over the ethos of why he was doing it. And, like, everything that he was talking about is like, yes, this is what I love to hear. I don't know. I can get my soapbox out right now and what you got going on, Murphy Hire? What you got in your 80 Trans Am? You want help or you just want me to tune it? FSTI07. I love your views. Thanks for watching, brother. Thanks for coming to the live show. Okay. Hit me up, man. Hit me up. Like, if you've emailed me in the last week, things have been so crazy. Literally, FXSTI, I've got to get back to you. As I said, this week has been so crazy. So, you know, I had info at Goat Rope Garage. Or you can go to the website, goatropegarage.com, and there's a contact us thing that'll go straight to my email. But it'll probably be about Tuesday before I get caught up. So, yeah. It's just been one of those weeks. Like Tuesday, I was out of the office all day interviewing interns. And Wednesday, what was going on Wednesday? Something happened Wednesday. I don't even remember. I don't even remember what happened this week. And then had stuff going on this afternoon, so I only had a couple hours this morning. And the way it works is whenever I have time, remote tunes get highest priority. I work through remote tunes. Then I go to the patrons that are the $25 tier, the ones for email assistant, and get all those guys on the right path. And then I go over to info, which is the catch-all. And then I have to sort through those. So, you know, 90% of the emails in there, though, are just people wanting me to, you know, will you fix this tune for you? And 99% of the time, no. I don't have time. If I did that for everybody that emailed me, I just would not have time. So that's why I have the Patreon for. Yeah, I know. You can get with cup holders. And I mean, you can get the Motions one with cup holders, too. You just got to pay another $200 for cup holders. Gotta make it stop raining. Listen, if I could make it stop raining, I'd make it stop snowing here. Okay, cool. P59, 6-liter truck Norris Chem, S475, HPT, 3-bar speed density tune, 4-bar map, has flex fuel, but mostly runs 93. Tune is close, but I have surging idle, sometimes stall. Can you give me some direction on that? P59, you running drive-by-wire or cable on that, Jordan? Dude, Merc for Hire, check out the Patreon link then specifically, because that is like advice. You're not having to buy a full, tune or whatever. Yeah. And it's that's where I do all that stuff. Okay, so drive-by cable, Jordan, the big thing is looking at your IAC counts. IAC, so we have like 0. Yeah, go ahead with questions. We have like 0 to 420, 360, 390. Just depends on which version. But we have a huge range on the IAC. The thing about it is, though, the IAC only works in about that size of the huge range. So if we're over here, we're basically completely closed off, and then we crack open, and then we get to right here and we're basically completely open. So it's very imperative on drive-by cable that we get the motor up to temp, look at the IAC counts, and then adjust the throttle blade to get the IAC counts. I like to target about 80. That seems to be the happy point with a GM IAC. You may have to do a little experimentation. But that is the number one issue that I've seen on drive-by cable setups, is that the IAC is way out. It's either 0 or 300 plus, and you're out of the control range in there. And all the other tables underneath the idle airflow, that is the first one. All the other ones are adaptions on top of that. So like the throttle cracker, well, throttle cracker's on drive-by-wire, but like, what's the other stuff? Nonetheless, goes down starts on the left, goes to the right, moves through those things on all the modifiers. If that is not correct, it just will not work. Yeah, TJ, stay safe. Don't be washing while you're driving. What up, Mitch? Where did I see? I got an OS question. Would you stick with Flex Fuel OS? I can only go 2-bar, go back to your OG OS to use the 3-bar. I plan to keep running E85 from the pump, though. I do plan to hit 20 PSI. So you're in a conundrum. Essentially, you're going to have to go with the 3-bar. You got to have the resolution up there. You got to be able to adjust that area. You're going to have to do testing at the pump, or, get a third-party interface so you can read E85. You're up to 20 PSI. It's about time to go to a standalone, honestly. Do you know where to get valid DECA 60 injector values? There seems to be a lot of discrepancy. No, I do not. Is there anything that uses them by default? I don't know. That's weird. Take the DECA 80 injectors and multiply them by 0.75. Yeah, you're really right there in the middle. 1-bar is 14.7, but that's atmospheric. Yeah, and so soon as you touch 15 psi, you've got to go from a 2-bar to a 3-bar setup. Put an ECM out of a 2000 Trans Am, but it's a manual. And then watching your video series for beginning to tune the mass air sensor it's the menus on editing is different than your video. Make sure that you're in advanced mode. So Merc for Hire, in the edit drop down on the editor, there's a basic mode and advanced mode. Advanced mode hides 90% of the tables. Run multiple map sensors. Well, I guess, okay. Okay, you got me thinking here, Adrian. Technically, you could take a wider range map sensor, change the scale, and have it read up to 2 bar. They're linear. Map sensors are linear, okay? So if you have a 4 bar sensor, you want to figure out the math to cut it down to where whenever it's reading 4 bar, it's actually reading 2 bar. There's going to be a lot of math involved, but you can make it work on a 2 bar OS and go up to 4 bars if that makes sense. That's why I was worried, Schmidt had if Deca 60s were off of Ford. There's a lot of Deca 80 info out there. The big thing is you just got to get ballpark. You know, there's a couple of settings, like the voltage offset is more important, but, you know, flow, if you can get it in the ballpark of the flow, the fuel delivery side of that stuff is more of a constant in the math that uses a variable, which is airflow, to determine fuel rate. And so it's like, at this manifold pressure, this is the amount of fuel that we should be flowing at 56 psi or whatever. So then we look at the changing pounds per hour or whatever on the airflow, do the math, and that gives us the fuel delivery amount. So that math you can tune out on the airflow side, and it'll work out fairly well. Yeah. But that's interesting. I've not thought about that. Want to go fuel tech? Yeah, but just blow all the race car money on boost this year. I know how that goes. I have a 4L60 in my 80 Trans Am, but the ECM is from a 2000 manual Trans, so there shouldn't be much of an issue because you got a 4L60, it's going to have a TCM. If you have one of the early 4L60Es, it'll be TCM controlled. No, PCM controlled. That is an issue. God, I'm all over the place. Yeah, you're going to have to get a PCM. I don't know if you can. Somebody correct me on this. If a P01 or whatever should still have the transmission control portion in the ECM, right? It's just not being used on the manuals. There you go. TJ says that's how I have mine set up. 3 bar map using 2 bar VE to keep resolution. Okay. Whenever I was running the Super Auto, it was VVE, and you can go to 8,000 PSI, and it doesn't care. It'll extrapolate the math out. Aaron says, my 2006 6-liter LS has stock injectors, non-flex fuel. All it has is a truck North Cam, TBSS intake, and exhaust. What injectors would be best? No E85. So, Aaron, when it comes to injectors, you always, listen. The biggest mistake people make with injectors is getting too big of an injector. I don't know if it's delusions of grandeur or something. They'll go to an injector calculator and be like, oh, yeah, this thing will probably eventually be 800 or 900 horsepower. No, you need to be realistic about your goals, what you're going to achieve, and buy enough injector to do that. Because it's the larger the injector, the harder time that you are going to get them to act right in tune. You get to a point where the injectors just, even at their quickest on-off, because just like the IAC, if you pulse them fast enough, they will get to a point where they don't even open. So if they're just clicking that quick, pretend that's like a fraction of a millisecond, you're not going to get any fuel flow on that. And by the time that they actually pulse enough to get some fuel flow, it's more fuel flow than you even need to idle right. So you get stinky idle, stuff like that going on. So use an injector calculator, but keep it realistic. So you're looking at a 6-liter with injectors, intake, and exhaust. You're talking non-flex fuel, 400 horsepower range. So I would size injectors for 500 at the most. Now, if you're going to do more mods, heads, or eventually boost. But for your case, if I had a 2006 6.0, I would get a pair of stock LS3 injectors and throw it. Be fine. When I start the car, it starts at fine idles, but trans does make little click noises. So that's interesting. Mark, we will take this offline. I will talk to you next week about that. We'll figure something out. Thinking about putting a turbo on it next year. How far could I oversize the injectors for the cam build right now so I don't need to buy another set? So then whenever you're talking about adding boost, we got to talk about how much boost. 15 PSI, you're essentially doubling your horsepower. So if you were in the 400, 450 range, now you're looking at 850 to 900, give or take, with losses and stuff like that. So, use that math to kind of ballpark it for you and then get enough. At that point in time. So up to 800 or so, you're probably going to be fine where you don't lose a lot of control down below that. Once you start getting above 800 horsepower, that's where you start having issues. Super slow TJ's driving. So essentially what you're doing, hold on, let me open the tune file and I'll show you. It'll be more simple than you think. We're only scaling the map. Let's see. Let me find something that's fairly close. This is not. So let's open up. Sorry, we're taking the detour because I like this question. Let's go. I got 2008 G8 GT. Nope, I want to go 3rd gen. So let's go, how about a 2001 Silverado 6-liter? Okay. So let's put this over on the whiteboard and pull the whiteboard up. Boop. Okay, so here we go. We've got the layout here. This is still going to be, see you, Shane. Thanks for stopping by again, brother. Here we go. So pretend this is 2-bar, right? Hell, let's just do it. We'll just do 2-bar. We'll make it a 2-bar. Actually, you know what? I've got a 2-bar on here. 2-bar. Okay. So we've got a 2-bar VE table here. Obviously, this one's not been filled out yet. What we need to do is look at our linear and offset and half this. Well, if this were a 4-bar, say it's 420 kPa with a negative 10.5 offset. We're going to half this. So we're going to make this 210 kPa and like negative 5.25. And so what we've done now is we've taken the 1 to 5 volts that we're getting from the sensor. 5 volts, around 5 volts, probably closer to 4.5 on this. It might even say 5 volts, pressure per 5 volts. And we've made this thing, whenever it's reading 4-bar, it's actually reporting, the ECU is reporting it as 2 bars. Does that make sense? And so now, as we come through here, whenever we hit 50 kPa, we're actually at 100 kPa. Whenever we hit 100, we're actually at 200 kPa. And so we have all this table, and this 200 is equivalent to 400 kPa. So we're running 45 pounds of boost out here. All right, well, I guess this is 2-bar, so it'd be doubled. It'd be, 30 pounds of boost. And that's it. Everything else is going to be the same. But it's going to be the same over here. Anywhere that you have manifold absolute pressure on the left-hand side, we've essentially cut those in half by doing that. Okay? But you also are going to have to create custom math on the scanner like, you want your standard math for filling out your error table on here because, as I said, we're at 200. We're actually reading 300 or whatever. Can you do the opposite with a 1 bar? What do you mean? But we just need to remember that we're scaling the map sensor. So your map reading, as far as what we're looking at for calculating boost and stuff like that, is not going to be right. We'd have to do math there. But we want the ECU, as far as it's concerned, to think that we are running, you know, half the amount of boost or whatever. So, Mike, and that's the question. Can you segment swap a manual OS over to a 4L60E one? Is it possible to determine if my turbo is maxed out without a dyno? That is, I mean, yeah, you'll see your airflow peak out. But even whenever boost peaks out on a turbo, you might be outside of the happy zone on the compressor map. You got to learn really how to read a compressor map to see what they can do. That's above my head. That's pointy head super nerds. Oh, man. I'm adopted, Merc for Hire. God bless you for adopting 4 kids. You know, that's awesome. I mean, you are my hero. No doubt. That is amazing. That is awesome. Like, I'm blown away. 4 kids. Yeah, being somebody, I was 4 years old whenever I was adopted. So Mike Few says, if this is me, I'd buy a PCM that matches your engine trans off eBay. And that's what I would do. Yeah. Personally. You know, and it's like you said, it's going to cost you about $50. You can turn VATs off. You'll have to, you know, buy your credits to be able to tune that one. But you're talking like you're going to be out $150. And it's a lot easier to do that than deal with trying to find the proper OSs for segment swapping, I'll be honest with you. Okay, Rob says, yeah, you swapped in an M6. So that I have no doubt you can do, is to go from a 4L60E PCM over and make it a manual. I mean, technically on 4L60, I don't even know that you'd have to do that. Oh, Schmidt. Schmidt's adopted and so is his sister. Hey, see you, Matt, if you're still here. Segment swapped a 4L80 segment into a manual Corvette OS, but use universal patcher. I've never messed with it. Said the craziest thing I've ever had to do was the manual and the Global A, the 5th Gen ECM, which required essentially flashing a complete Corvette OS in there, which was a bunch of mess because you had to do it through Tech Connect because there's no way of doing segment swappings on the later generation stuff. Dude, no! It's a pain, TJ. TJ's like, stop it. Just find a file and add the controller to the file. If you can find one that matches up. There are some of them out there that you can't find one to swap. You know, what do you do in that case? You have to kick over to another ECU. Like, the engine side of it's pretty agnostic. It's the transmission side that's the pain. You have to do it from the scanner for 5th Gen. When did they add this feature? I don't even know what you're talking about. You've lost the thread. See, TJ has become the teacher. The student has become the teacher. Is it under special functions? Ah, that's a bummer, dude, but thank you for doing, like, the awesome thing. Oh, well, that's cool for your parents, man. 5 years after they adopted you, they still had a kid. 6.8. I do not do Terminator Holly tunes. Hit up Joe Simpson for those. He's the Holly guy. He can sort you out. I don't even... I've got the software installed, but it's probably years out of date. What brand of injectors to avoid? Which brands do you prefer? It's a tough question. That is a tough question. So, I don't know. It just depends. Injectors are super critical. Like, I've ran snake eaters in the past. I've not had any use or any issues with them. They have good data, but I know people have been fine. Timo injectors. But Schmidthead is right. Just make sure that they have data specifically for your platform. Yes, VIN swap you can do, but you can't make an automatic ECM on a 5th gen run without a TCM. Listen, I've bought Ford performance injectors multiple times. In fact, I've got a set downstairs in a intake manifold set up for a small block Chevy. And, they're good price. And you can actually find data on most of those. But even if you're not buying from an injector company, like you're doing something like that, make sure before you buy them that you can find the data. If data does not come with the injector, make sure you can find the data. That's the big thing. The data is critical. You got to make sure there's data involved. That being said, I've ran FIC, I've ran DeechWorks. Some lights on. No, it's more than that, dude. StabiliTrak, ABS, all that stuff will throw a total fit. I tried. Okay. It's 8:29. It's time to wrap up another great live show. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the great questions. And, I've got injector dynamics. I've got FICs sitting in the back of the Hellcat. Ford performance injectors are cheap. P&W coming in late as usual. No, it's just per set, Mitch. See, they're as I said, that's the thing is like a good injector company will balance the injectors. They're going to bench flow them and make sure they're all within, 1% or so of each other. So you're getting equal distribution across it. That's one of the benefits that you get for paying a little more from FIC and DeechWorks and even snake eaters, which snake eaters, I swear, they say blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty sure that they're still Chinese injectors, but if they are doing the right things, it doesn't matter. I haven't updated my HB tuners in ages. If I do, well, yeah. Listen, Brad, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay? I'll tell you that much. Good luck, Cameron, with your dyno next week. Come back and report in. Yeah, and so, like, if they are, 800cc injectors, the data, Tim Webb, the data will be for an 800cc injector set. The set that you get may be flow matched to 810cc or 795cc. As I said earlier, the injector data just ballparks you, and then we fine-tune it on the airflow side. Tim, Okay, I tell you what. Let me do this right now. Because I keep on meaning to reach out to my contact. Call ICT Billet about discount code. I can't make any promises, especially right now with all the tariff stuff, because I know their products, their prices are going to be going through the roof. Yeah, Cameron, yeah, that's the worst combination. E40 with 80-pound injectors, like 80 pounds getting up there where it's hard to control the injectors, then having to scale them on top of that. That's like, so. Okay. Listen, Arkansas Matt, there's going to be a new video very soon, very soon. But, okay, I'm going to jump off here. Listen, you guys, thanks for a great Thursday night. I'll see you next Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel, all that jazz. You know the drill. What's up, Kamar? ABT, always be tuning.